means a lot to me. I think when you're a child, you set out to be the best that you can at something and to win as many awards and championships as possible. And so to really, be able to experience the journey of that process, but also to remember, to look back on things. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, I remember watching the 96 Olympics and wanting to be Cheryl Swoops and Lisa Leslie and Tina Thompson and Cynthia Cooper standing on that podium. And then to be able to say to my daughter, I won 2 Olympic gold medals, and I've won a championship and things like that. So it really means a lot to me, just kind of that all the hard work that has, from my family, from my coaches, from everybody that's been a part of my career has had a hand in that.
But do you remember the first basketball player that came to you and noticed how good your game was and it surprised you? Was there someone from college or someone from the pros that saw you and were like, wow, I really like your game?
That is a good question. The earliest I remember was probably Doug Bruno, honestly, from DePaul. And I was at one of the Doug Bruno camps, and I was in 7th grade. And I was playing up with the high schoolers. And I remember, I would go to the gym all the time with my dad. And, my dad treated me like an athlete. I wasn't a girl. I wasn't a boy. I wasn't anything. I was just an athlete he was training. So we never really stopped to kind of, take in if I was good or not. We just kind of worked. And so when I kind of went to this camp, this was really the first measuring stick of me against my peers. And I remember I got offered a scholarship at that camp from DePaul. And, I was really excited about it. It was my first scholarship, and I'd been through the process with my brother of trying to pick a college. So that was, definitely a dream come true for me. And, my dad really challenged me to continue to work and to continue to get better and not to be satisfied.
Candace, I really need your help, and I hope that you can help our listeners with this regarding the WNBA, because I talked to Shanae Agumake about this. I've talked to a couple other people about this, but I'm thinking you could help us as far as the needed changes to the league and for the future of the league, because to me, I think that from a television standpoint, awareness and financial for the next CBA, whenever that comes across, things have to change. Can you look at the WNBA and tell me some things that really you'd love to see for the future for the league?
Well, first of all, I think we have to put things in perspective. We're comparing our league against the NFL, against the NBA, that has been around for 60, 65 years. This is a young league. And with a young league, it comes young fans. And it comes a fan base that we have to identify. And I think first and foremost, identifying our fan base of who we're trying to attract and going from there and building that. I mean, you have generations now that are Boston Celtics fans because their great-grandfather was a Boston Celtics fan. My daughter, I con her into being a Bears fan because I am a Bears fan.
Right.
And so you have to kind of grow that relationship. And that starts with being out in the community. That starts with establishing a foundation, a face. I mean, with social media nowadays, being able to really use that to tell stories. Because people pay attention to the NBA, but now the NBA has grown because, first of all, they don't wear helmets, so they're recognizable. And second of all, the NBA has grown because now you fall in love with the storylines. Like, people were watching OKC play Golden State, not because they were trying to watch 2 great teams play against each other, because they wanted to see what Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, were they going to handshake before the game? So I think we have to grow those stories and tell those stories. And so for a period of time, you're fighting against people want to be outside in the summer. They don't want to be in the gyms in the summer. We disappear and go overseas for months on end after the season. So you're not really able to kind of grow with these people. So I do think that there is a place for the WNBA. I think we have to figure out our audience, and it's going to take time. I mean, you're not going to fix everything with one CBA.
Yeah, and financially, that's got to get better too, right? You got to get closer